Hello, Internet. Welcome to the special edition of Soapcast. I'm Mark Donica.
I'm Julian Tim.
And this is going to be a new sort of avenue for us. We used to have a podcast account where you could subscribe on iTunes. That kind of fell through. So we're going to give this a go on the YubTubs, see how it works, and if enough people like it. I mean, I just like using it on YouTube because it's the easiest thing. Have it on in the background. It's not necessarily a big commitment.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And also, if so choosed, we could put it on another. We can make it subscribable again.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the reason why this is special is we're just talking about Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
Which I finished last Saturday. When did you finish it?
I think 2 days ago.
Okay.
2 days ago, somewhere in there.
Not silently judging. I don't give a fuck. But I read all of the articles back when before it was delayed the second time. The Game Informer articles, all of that stuff, and it always looked interesting. The E3 demo, whatever, looked cool, but I didn't see myself getting this game on day one, and I didn't.
Right.
Because I didn't beat the first Bioshock. I played it a bit, and of course I didn't play 2, but just because I didn't think I would be welcome into that world, and I'm happy to say that I was wrong. How about you? Did you get this Steam Day 1 pre-ordered?
Yeah. I'm a Bioshock freak.
I know.
I love all the games. I mean, Infinite. I like Bioshock 2 the least.
But that's not to say that it's a bad game.
Oh no, it's a freaking great game. Mm-hmm. I think at least.
That's what I've been hearing more of since Infinite's come out. The only thing I heard about Bioshock 2 was a lot of people shitting on it. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
I think that game took time for people to.
Yeah, and I mean also it's not a new thing like Infinite was. Mm-hmm. Bioshock 1, you were introduced to Rapture and the whole thing. Bioshock 2 was you were back at Rapture and it was kind of just more of the same, which is fine for me. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite different enough to live up to Bioshock 1.
And also it wasn't irrational. It was a different company that took the reins of Bioshock 2. And when they tacked on multiplayer, people were like, I don't know about this. And Infinite was supposed to have multiplayer, I found out. And everybody was really happy that it got cut. Mm-hmm. Which I'm kind of happy for, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish that I got it on Steam like you did. But I just ran out, got it for Xbox, hustled through it. Well, not necessarily hustled through it. What did you think?
I don't know. I really enjoyed the game. I love the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's my second favorite in the series. Bioshock 1 is my favorite.
All right.
It's interesting. Up until like.
Oh, and also lots of spoilers.
Yes,
we're definitely gonna totally spoilers.
Yeah, if you have not played Bioshock Infinite and you want to,
just play it,
but don't listen to this yet.
No.
But yeah, up until right around the end, I really enjoyed it, and then I got a little confused at the end, and then after I kind of sat and thought about it,
Do you want to just talk about the ending?
Yeah, sure.
At what point did you start not understanding? My feeling about the game is it gave you the answers to a question that it didn't pose until the very end.
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't so much of an aha or, like, dude, you gotta look up, like, reaction videos where people are like, beating the game and they're just sitting there, like, quiet or, like, what? Or, like, just freaking out. And when I beat it, like, I went, like, before they even said, like, he's Zachary Comstock, he's Booker DeWitt. No, I'm both. Like, before that moment happened, it was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful device they played with. And then it happened, and I was like, yeah, cool. Totally made sense. I was fine with it. But what point was it? When they sent you into the future? They sent you into the 80s?
No, I knew about that beforehand.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, they had the bit where she opened up the tear and you saw Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That was in, like, the test footage.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of happy that I forgot that existed.
Yeah.
And that they showed that in the beginning.
Yeah, one of the things I really, really like about this game is because there's the tear in space and time, there were a bunch of, like, not modern day, I guess, but...
80s music.
Yeah, 80s music, 70s music.
That was
redone in, like,
that was one of my
early 1900s.
favorite hints at all of the time travel. And also, everything... All of the songs made sense where they were placed. They weren't just like, oh, dude, I really love CCR. Let's put them in there.
Yeah.
Like, the tear where you can actually hear the song. And then, after you go through the big, universe tear, and you see the woman in front of the stocks singing it.
Yeah.
That's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I just like,
what is
fucking America! But then it's like, oh, shit, America.
Yeah.
and the use of girls just want to have fun. And
I didn't catch that, actually.
Yeah, I did, and I was like, oh, well, this is cool. Did you find the girls just want to have fun tear?
I don't think so. I didn't find all of the special tears.
Neither did I, but I found the CCR one because that one you kind of had to.
Yeah.
And then I found the girls just want to have fun one.
Nice.
And I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, that made me think that the game was going to end in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like you were going to end up in the 80s, and it was going to be this dichotomy of old versus new, but there's still some sort of I thought it was going to be like a really weird message, but it was still it was a more interesting message.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy that it didn't end in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when I say confused about the ending, I guess I mean I understand that he's both Zachary Comstock and Booker DeWitt. I understand that his daughter is actually his daughter. I understand, all of that stuff. I think what I didn't get, and it's just now like coming to me, because I didn't factor in time travel.
Yeah.
So it, like,
which part about it? I might be able to explain for you.
Well, I mean, if he's Booker DeWitt and Zachary Comstock, he became Booker DeWitt when...
Or he stayed Booker DeWitt when he denied the baptism.
Right.
And then there is a different dimension,
parallel dimension
where he accepted it and was reborn as Zachary Comstock.
Zachary Comstock, and then, okay.
And all of the work with the temporal... Like, with the device, made him age and have cancer and sterile. Yeah.
And so, instead of... Now I'm getting it a lot.
How many of the voxophones did you find?
A lot of them. Not all of them. I don't know if I found all
I found like 60. There's 80.
Yeah.
There are a couple that are hidden away in a side quest that they don't really throw in your face.
Yeah.
The ciphers and the keys.
Yeah. I really like those.
It's a cool idea that I totally forgot about. That I remember seeing the thing, and then I got the code book. I was like, oh, well, I guess that means that I'll find more coming up. But it's like, oh no, you had to really explore, find them.
I don't know. That's the thing that I really like about the Bioshock series. Is I guess it's kind of like not really like Zelda, I guess, but in the sense that there are secrets and stuff that you do have to, if you want to find them, and if you want to like complete the game and have 100%, you have to really go out of your way and explore and search and snoop and stuff. And like when I played Bioshock 1 for the first time, I played it all the way through, but I didn't really worry about the audio logs and stuff, and so I didn't actually understand the full backstory of Rapture and all of that stuff, and it wasn't until like a few months later. I mean, I was so in the moment that I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, and then about a month later, I was thinking back about it, and I thought, wait, what is the story of this game? And then I went back and replayed it, looking for all of the things, and it was such a better experience.
Like in looking up a bunch of extra stuff that I missed for this game, I ended up finding out a lot about Bioshock 1, so I kind of wanted to go back and play it, but now I think like the effects would like the effect of the story wouldn't hit as hard for me. Like if you asked me, I really think you should play Bioshock 1.
Yeah.
Would you kindly? I don't think I like.
Yeah.
I would like that would be like, oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate thing with me in Bioshock 1 is I sat down one day, totally ready to play it. I had I think it was your copy. No, I borrowed somebody's PS3 copy of it.
Right.
And it took an hour and a half to install on my PlayStation 3.
Oh.
So I was ready. I sat down, I put it in. I was like, all right, we're just gonna set this up for you real quick. And then I sat there for about a good 20 minutes watching the bar creep, and I was like, this isn't gonna happen right now. So I went and I did my crap, came back and it was ready, and I was like, I don't want to play this right now. Yeah. And then I stopped, and then when I started again, I was just not I was like, oh, too much was going on, and it ruined my experience. I should have just played it on PC, I know, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I did like seeing Rapture and establishing.
I shat myself with that. I mean,
that was one of the moments that I really went, oh, cool.
Yeah,
it's
and I didn't realize it at first.
You're just like, oh, we're underwater, or did you even see?
I thought maybe we're on a submarine or something, and then whoa,
building 6.
Oh yes!
And did you see the big sister, little sister,
Big Daddy, and the thing? And then I went through. I just went right back into Bioshock 1 mode, and I was looking at all the trash. Well, I mean, I was doing that with Infinite too, but
all the what?
Trash cans and the Vita chambers,
and I love. There's been so much fan art of Elizabeth's point of view of Booker finding potatoes in a toilet and just
yeah,
and she just being like, what the fuck's going on? And I mean, I don't know. I think my gaming sensibilities have changed since Bioshock 1 to where I can accept a lot more things, because I wasn't a big first person shooter guy, and it's that by definition only. I think Bioshock Infinite marvels as a story. I really enjoyed the story and how connected it made everything, to the point where at the end, when you're seeing all of the other Elizabeths and Bookers at all of the different lighthouses, like Adam Sessler said it, that was a point where it made it had a message about gaming on top of story, where you look over and technically I could be seeing you in your playthrough in that lighthouse, in that universe. Having alternate universes means that your playthrough and my playthrough individually are canon.
Yeah.
The exact events of mine, the exact ways that I died and Booker told the story, is mine. The exact way that you played Booker and his story is yours, and it all makes sense. And that feeling of connectivity while still being a complete personal experience was wonderful feeling to have.
Yeah.
And Sessler actually has a show called Spoilers on Revision 3 Gaming.
Oh, nice.
Which I highly suggest you go to. And he spent about 55 minutes talking about Bioshock Infinite in a 2-part thing.
Excellent.
But in terms of... I don't think that this could work as a movie. I don't think the story could... No. Definitely not, because...
I don't think it should be a movie.
I don't either. And I hope... Like, the Bioshock 1... wouldn't work as a I don't think would work as well as a movie.
No, it wouldn't. I really don't. I mean, it would work if it was 1 or Infinite. 1 I think would work better because it's more. I don't know. It's less complicated.
I would want 1 first before Infinite, because Infinite has some things that are connected with the first game that help you understand Infinite more. So if you don't have that establishment of Rapture, like being in the gaming world, I couldn't not know about Bioshock. I could not play it and just have it ignored because it got such critical praise. So I tried to know as much as I could. Either way, still seeing Rapture was awesome, because there's always a man, there's always a lighthouse, there's always a city. It's like, fuck,
that was something I was thinking about before Infinite even came out. I was like, so I guess, this might be like a spiritual successor to Bioshock, because it's, it's another marvelous city in the skies, and it's the same, there's powers and stuff like that, so it might just be a spiritual successor. It might be just another city.
It is a sequel. Like, it's literally a sequel. And,
Or I don't know if I would say a sequel. It's an at the same time cool, kind of.
Yeah, right. a mid-quel. Like
Mid-quel. Yeah, it's...
while being associated with something, it still stands on its own.
Yeah.
And one of the big reasons why I don't think...
It's a spin-off!
Yeah, it's technically a spin-off.
That was a damn good one.
Yeah. One of the main reasons why I think that this could only work as a game is because of button presses. Is because of that personal nature of the game.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, you shoot stuff. Yeah, you have plasmids. Or vigors. I didn't use vigors that much.
Yeah, neither did I really.
I used Possession, Devil's Kiss, and Shock Jockey. Yeah. I didn't use Bucking Bronco, despite it looking cool. I never used it.
Really?
I used Undertow once, but I brought a handyman right to me.
Oh.
So I went, I don't want to use this ever fucking again, because I
really
died several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta know how... I liked Murder of Crows, but I didn't use it as much.
Yeah, Murder of Crows and Shock Jockey is... I mean, I used them. I used Shock Jockey more, but it was much more of a... they're both just kind of stun things.
Well, unless you fully upgrade
you
Shock
really...
Jockey, because then you can chain electricity,
Yeah, I did that.
or fully upgrade Murder of Crows, where when they kill a guy, it sets a trap.
Yeah.
And they lay eggs on the guy, and then it becomes a new murder, and you can just kind of endlessly loop that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do. But, and I stayed with the pistol most of the time, just because it was really reliable. And the machine gun. Oh, the volley gun.
Yeah, I played with a volley gun a little bit.
That was fun. But, they were shooting, and it was kind of necessary to be in the middle of that. But the button presses I'm talking about are, press X to console Elizabeth. Press X to separate Comstock and Elizabeth. Those button presses more so than the run and gun and the vigor combat were why this has to be a game. And it's better even if you can watch some of the fighting go down, and then it's like, okay, I'll just press X. You have to make the decision.
Yeah.
It's not the game's decision. You have to make the decision to advance. You have to make the decision to hand, no matter what, like Elizabeth says it, you have to make the decision to pick up Anna and hand her to fucking Lutece. And it's got to happen, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to make this choice.
That's another really great thing about the Bioshock games, is in every single game. Choice.
And one of the things...
I mean, this actually had less choice than the other Bioshock games.
It was about choice. It was all about choice while taking it out of your hands.
Yeah.
I was talking to Spencer about it, and he's like, yeah, I'll play it at some point. I was like, play it as soon as you can. But he said he didn't like how in Bioshock 1... you've got choice all the time about the little sisters. About do I harvest them or do I let them go and then I just get some at them? And then here, there's do I throw the ball at the interracial couple or at Fink? Yeah. Obvious. That moment, striking as forgive the pun, but to be walking through, it's like festival, fireworks or balloons. God only knows. This is beautiful. Hey, look, an Irishman and a black woman. Let's beat them for being that. Oh, fuck. This is where we are.
Yep.
All right. And, I mean, it was an amazing moment. It was a moment that something similar probably happened. Oh, and then all of the, monkeys that came up behind them, the monkey priest and everything. Just oh, my God. Here we are. Yeah. Meh. So, it's inherently about choice, where you are literally... there because of one choice, fighting against a choice that you could have made. Being able to look into a possibility and learn from it is excellent.
Yeah.
And it's meta and mind-blowing and all that shit. God, in the score, one of my favorite things about the music in the score is the song "Will the Circle Be Unbroken?"
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize until having the soundtrack that you hear it in the beginning, you hear it in the middle, and you hear it at the end, and it's the story of the game.
Oh wow!
It's if I go verse by verse, it's about like it's about life and death and heaven and whatever. But in terms of the game, it's about this circle of Comstock will always be Comstock, Booker will always be Booker, and inevitability and choice and destiny and all that stuff all rolled into a song. So you hear it in the beginning, not only in the rocket as you arrive at Columbia, but when you're in the Welcome Center, you hear the choir singing it, and it sings the first part of it, which is about rebirth and life and whatever and everything. And then you hear it in the middle when... Did you go into the bar and have Booker pick up the guitar?
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth sings it there, and then you get it in the credits at the end. And also, they have a full version of it with the woman who played Courtney, I forgot her last name, who played Elizabeth. They have a full version of it on the soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
Sobbing. But one of my favorite... I already said it, but the game gave you all of the answers before telling you what the question was.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Lutesses. Like, I knew that the Lutesses were the ones in the boat when I saw them. Because, I mean, they were bickering. They were kind of the only British voices. But then when I saw them with the coins, one of my first thoughts was, how did they get up here so fast? Not like, who were these two? But how did they get it? And then I was like, oh... Early on, I knew they were some kind of like portal jumper, some sort of, and then like, oh, they're doing interdimensional work, and then when you're going up to the Comstock house and they're at every instance, it's like, was so cool. That's they're totally not of this world and can bend things to their will.
Yeah.
And then thinking about why the game is called Bioshock Infinite, as I'm playing it,
it really lives up to its name.
Definitely. And God, like that, hearing people also say like, "Oh, the twist, man! Oh, the twist is gonna be great! Oh, it's gonna spin, and something so awesome happens." It's like, okay, well now instead of being lost in this world, I'm thinking too much.
Yeah.
And that made me realize, oh yeah, there are parallel dimensions, there are different dimensions, whatever. And then all of the voxophones. Mm-hmm. God, I love the Lutesses.
They're great.
Aside from I would say they're my favorite NPC aside from Elizabeth.
Yeah, I really really liked the interaction between you as a player and Elizabeth as an NPC. I thought they really handled that well.
As a non-co-op.
Yeah.
That was another one of the things that kind of killed the gameplay for me, though. Like, not getting like, oh shit, I ran out of ammo or salts, and then, oh, okay, cool, I got him. But it was dying.
Oh.
I mean, I died a lot. I just played on normal, but there's the portion where you're just about to get to Comstock House, and they're just litters of fucking Vox Populi just coming after you. I must have died like 10, 12 times. But that was like, oh, well, I know I'm dying. And that kind of like, all right, so dying doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
It doesn't matter unless you want to, like, keep money.
Yeah, but then it's like, Elizabeth found money. Like, literally, I was about to run out of money from dying, and Elizabeth said, hey, Booker, I found money.
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay, then I don't have to worry about dying anymore. And then I kill somebody, go into a garbage can, and I get more money. And I totally missed being, like, hacking the vending machines. If you possess vending machines...
Oh, yeah!
I totally, like, I saw that after, and I went,
forgot about that.
Of course you can!
Yeah.
It shows you that you can do that in the beginning. Right after you get the possession. Oh, speaking of the possession... somebody took the audio of right when you get it. It's like you hear like wispy kind of backwards voices, and played it in forward, and it's creepy as fuck.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's I don't want to. There's a lot of random, like the sound design was so good.
Oh yeah,
excellent. Haven't even talked about Songbird.
I love Songbird.
Excellent
Great
character, and not even like
not
somebody wrote an article from Songbird's perspective.
Yeah.
Here's this... I have to protect this girl. Here's this son of a bitch getting in the way of my job. Like,
Yeah.
such a tragic character, I couldn't really get mad.
Yeah.
Like, even when it knocks you out and fucks you up, watching Songbird die in Rapture was a little hard. She's like, no, she's your friend. You just... And it's like, oh, well, he's not in pain anymore. And speaking of Songbird and Rapture, somebody went back and played Bioshock 1, and you can hear something that sounds like Songbird.
Oh, wow.
In the background. I'm going to play it. I'm going to hold it up to the microphone, see if anybody can...
Da 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 da! Presto, presto! No! I'm trying! Please! Da 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 da!
Oh, it didn't... Okay. It didn't do it that well. But there's another video that shows it off really well, and it's essentially the same noise.
Wow.
It doesn't sound like whales.
Yeah.
It sounds like Songbird.
And they did that very well then, if that's what they were planning on.
I don't know if they were.
Yeah.
Or if they just said, let's just put this noise here.
Yeah.
Or how far in advance they were putting...
Oh,
they were
I'm
thinking
sure
of
they
Infinite.
weren't. I don't think they were thinking about
I know it was
Infinite
like
when they were doing Bioshock.
Yeah, not the first one. But I know this is like 4 or 5 year development process.
Yeah.
It was a pretty long one. I liked how it didn't take away the power that you were gaining throughout the game, where at the end just throwing a boss at you. Like throwing...
Yeah.
I thought Songbird was going to be the final boss.
So did I.
After... Well, I initially thought it was going to end in the 80s, and you were going to have to take down the whole fleet or whatever in quote-unquote modern day. Which, I mean, seeing Elizabeth Old, pull you up, and it's like, oh god, I didn't save her.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. Not Booker's an asshole. I'm an asshole. Like, despite being a voiced character with his own personality, it was still really easy to identify yourself, as well as fall in love with Elizabeth as a character.
Yeah. I'm so... I wish you hadn't... I mean, it's impossible not to, being a gamer, but I wish you didn't know about the twist of Bioshock.
Yeah.
Because that basically...
Nerfs everything.
It does. It just kind of makes it not as worth playing at all.
I liked the moment. Maybe you'll just read Ayn Rand instead. You'll just read Atlas Shrugged. And just imagine different different characters.
But yeah, that, I mean, it's the same with Bioshock and Bioshock 2. That's whenever for the first time ever, about 4 or 5 months ago, I was playing Bioshock, and for the first time ever, I decided to harvest the little sister. And oh my god. Because, Booker's the first character that, in the Bioshock series, that talks, that you can hear. Except for, in the very beginning of Bioshock, you've got a little, I don't know, half-minute long speech, and then you don't talk for the rest of the game.
Which is strange.
Which is strange, but you forget about it pretty quick.
Yeah.
But since it's like that, it's kind of the Gordon Freeman thing, where it's just like, you feel really like you are the character doing all this stuff, and then seeing this...
the image of the little sister...
Of the little sister...
Being harvested.
Yeah. And then you just drop her.
A means to an end.
I think that's what happens. I actually don't remember. I don't remember what
Blocked
the animation
it out.
is. Maybe. It either... Because it goes kind of red and jumbly, and then...
You can't really show child endangerment or child murder, essentially.
Well, they show child endangerment, just not murder. I mean, they show little sister, Bioshock 2, you have to, and those are my dogs.
That's fine.
Bioshock 2, you have to, if you've got a little sister with you, you have to protect her from all these splicers that are trying to kill her, and, they're saying some stuff about her, and
makes you the intensity of wanting to kill her, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes it really like, oh, well, okay, they're not joking.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of splicers, did you catch? I mean, this is me speaking as somebody who didn't play the game, but when you land in Colombia, did you the preacher or the pastor when you're about to be baptized?
Yeah.
Is it someone new?
I don't understand what that's.
It's something that splicers say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, like again, I can't even.
Oh, okay. There's so many things that they say.
Yeah. Oh, then speaking, that was another thing that kind of before the end reveal, kind of revealed the end as well.
Okay,
was
yeah, I can see that.
the pastor in the beginning was
Yeah,
the same pastor that you rejected the baptism from. So it's like, oh wait, are they reusing a character model or no? Then you think about it, and it's like, well, he would keep the pastor in his life for helping him with this amazing life event, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that leads to the thing like, oh yeah, he's totally Comstock. But what did you think of the Lady Comstock excursion? The big
I liked it.
3-tiered ghost battle.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Not too tedious for you?
No, not really. I was going around. Half of the time, I was doing doing what needed to be done, and then the other half I was spent trying to find the code book.
Oh, okay.
The last code book, and so I was kind of just going. I don't know. I tend to go out of my way in Bioshock games to try and get everything.
Mm-hmm. And I think that Columbia. I mean, from the little that I played of the original Bioshock, I liked Columbia as an area more. Just aesthetically. Just because it's an aesthetic that we're so used to in propaganda, quote-unquote propaganda, and it was brighter.
Yeah.
And also the skyhooks were just...
Oh, they were so much fun.
That was so much adrenaline. If there was a way that they could make that a real-life experience somehow, I know it's safely, exactly, because you're just dangling by your arm.
Yeah.
But they have skyhooks
that
you can get. And it's like I can drop $80 on one of those.
Yeah.
That's fun. And I found myself doing melee a lot more, just because the first attacks you do are melee.
Yeah.
So not because I'm a glutton for breaking a man's neck with a fucking skyhook, but I had the apparel where they would burst into flame. Like they had a 50% chance of bursting into flame. So whenever like a zealot would like pop up in front of me, he would attack me and get electrified because of another piece of clothing that I had. Then I would hit him again, and he'd be on fire and electrified, and his head would explode. And I'd be like, "Oh, this is fun.
Yeah,
this is nice."
Since I played it on computer, I didn't do a lot of melee because it's really hard to do the melee to hit the key.
That was one of the things that I wanted to ask you about. What are the? Do you have access to? Or do you have hotkeys for all of the vigors?
Or
could you only keep 2? Was there like a quick thing of 2?
You could do hotkeys to, I think, set vigors. I don't really use hotkeys.
Okay.
Because I can't. It takes me I'm slow. I'm new to computer gaming, so like to jump to 1 through 0 and then try to get back to the WASD. It takes too long and I usually die. Okay.
Because that's one of the things is because you can hotkey it, you can have all of the vigors at your disposal, which would make you a little bit, theoretically would make you more adept to using them. Yeah. As opposed to just having 2. Right. Which I had possession on me at all times, and then it would just be, do I want to set fire traps or electrical traps? And electrical traps didn't work as well, or.
I used Undertow a lot once I got it. Undertow and the shotgun were my... Ooh. Yeah. I mean, if there was a handyman or if there were bigger bosses, mainly handyman, I just would not do Undertow. But...
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. I got about 60% way into the game, and then I figured out how to... change which vigors were equipped. Which, I forgot what they're actually called. Whatever.
Well, what was the effect? Like fireball or...
Oh, no. I just the names of the actual powers.
Yeah, I know them all.
I don't remember what...
Charge, shock jockey...
Well, no, not the individual names, but the... Because Vigor... Oh, no, you're right. It is Vigors.
Yeah.
There's Vigors and then Salts are... Okay.
Salts are what power the Vigors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so used to Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I would... If there were too many people, I would just do a quick press and, like, blast them away. Just kind of a big push away with the water. Or I upgraded that so I could get up to 3 people pulled towards me in undertow, and then I would just
Shotgun
them, instant kill. Even for like armored volley gun users, that was pretty.
Ugh. I didn't like the motorized Patriots too much by the end.
Yeah, I
just
got
because
pretty sick of them.
Because I think Ken Levine or one of the designers said that since they're not people, they're not afraid of gunfire, so they'll always just come at you, which is wonderful. And like, it's just this big powerhouse of an American figure coming at you with a chain gun. But then it's like, I keep dying, and I can't get behind them because they'll always follow me. Like,
that's why I have to electro.
I distract them with throwing a turret over there, so they turn around, and I try my best to hit the gears.
Like
opening up a tear.
Oh, okay.
To
So
have
I
a
thought
turret
you said
or a mosquito.
See, I thought you said throwing a turret over there.
Yeah, I throw it.
Elizabeth, chuck a turret over there.
What? What? Just do it.
I'm on it, Booker.
I'm gonna go back here.
I don't know. I think it would be much funnier if Elizabeth was just like, yeah, fine.
Just drop one and like, I love this AI. Girls just want to have shit. I initially didn't like the idea of when you go against the Vox, they had handymen, they had motorized Patriots, they had essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I mean, wouldn't they have a different class? No, they wouldn't. Because the message that they're trying to do story-wise is both extremes of the spectrum are bad. Mm-hmm. And
are
usually...
extremely similar also.
Exactly. And then I was like, oh yeah, I really like that. Okay, I'm fine with this again.
Yeah.
There's so much to like with Bioshock Infinite. And I wouldn't call it perfect. I love the story. I don't know what they'll do for DLC. I mean, I traded my game in because the one that they shipped was the story that they wanted to tell me. Yeah. If there's anything in DLC, I think it could be one of a couple things. Or what I would like it to be, I think Booker who was a martyr, quote unquote martyr, if you could play that story to where like in that alternate dimension, that would be cool. If you could be Daisy Fitzroy, the leader of the Vox Populi, during that part or another one where you end up finding Lady Comstock dead and now you have to run and then everybody's after you and then you end up establishing all that stuff. Like, there are a few things that would really make me go, oh shit, why did I trade it in? But I don't know what it would be. Like,
well, I think the best thing they can do is have it from the perspective of a mosquito and just keep going in circles around.
Just going in circles, just like
all the while questioning your existence. And
in one universe, Booker becomes a mosquito.
Yeah. It's just him with balloons tied to him and a machine gun going,
and then Elizabeth tossing him ammo
and coins.
And that's another reason, is because they finished Booker's story. Mm-hmm. So the only logical thing would be to go to a different middle point or a different beginning.
Yeah.
Like, if you played as Booker at Wounded Knee.
Yeah, see, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Or,
although that would...
So, because then you would get more from Slate. Yeah. The guy from the Hall of Heroes. I really liked the idea of him. And then it's like, oh, he's done with... And I hear that complaint a lot from people who played Bioshock 1 because all of the regions had these heads that you had to deal with in Rapture. Like, they're the different kind of boss people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like how it wasn't
really, really good bosses.
Well, no, but that's the thing, is people were sad that in Bioshock Infinite didn't have the same sort of thing.
Oh.
And I think it was to its credit that it didn't do that, so that you
Yeah.
weren't. It wasn't like, oh, this is exactly like Bioshock. Like hearing Fink. When you're going through the factory and everything and talking,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to kill him I'm going to shoot him straight. Then you get up there and Daisy does it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you have a different kind of oh shit of, oh, this is what I signed up for? Like, I like how it flipped that on its ear. And then Slade, whatever, you have the option to just, I'm going to shoot him right now. And that's another one of the choice things is like, no, I'm not going to kill him.
You didn't?
No.
Neither did I.
Yeah. Like, I don't see... Like, he's there dying.
Yeah.
Why...
And then later, if you don't kill him, then later on, there's you see him.
Wait, what?
You do. You see him. He's in the, shoot. I don't remember where. I think it's before Comstock House. But you do see him. He's chained up. He's locked up.
Okay.
In the, there's a place with a bunch of cells.
The jail.
Yeah.
Was that the place where Chen Lin was?
Yes.
Okay.
You see him.
All right.
And Booker kind of says to Elizabeth, see, sometimes this is just... I told you this is just as bad as dying, or this was, something, whatever.
Okay, I missed that. Oh, speaking of that part, actually, there was another thing that made me think that time travel was involved. Because there were two NPCs that... The audio was a little bit louder than anybody else that you would just see on the street. It was a man and a woman guard, and one was like asking the other out on a date, and she said
that.
it would either not in 1912, not in 2012. And I was like, why would they make such a note about the future if we're not going to go to the future? Which is like, all right, this game's going to end in the 80s, cool. Everything's expected. Oh, it wasn't. Good.
Yeah.
There were a lot of great clues. Would you calm your tits? I just really enjoyed it.
It's a great game.
And
I think the reason, I don't know, Bioshock 1 is very, very, very close to my heart, held near and dear. Hey! Sorry, listeners, that's my
Frodo.
dog.
He's a friend.
Essentially, I don't know, my grandfather was a man not unlike
Ryan?
Yeah, not quite unlike Andrew Ryan. In a lot of ways. Not in a horrible way, not in the bad guy way, but he was a legitimate genius and started building his own city in the desert of Arizona.
Which is Bioshock 3.
Yeah. But that like...
They see the LA Times article and they're like,
Oh,
Desert
all right,
City!
Let's do it! Just each... See, that's another thing that I really liked about Infinite, is it opened up the possibilities for just a different retelling of a similar-ish story.
Because, I mean, it's a way of history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Where
I mean, I don't
they're
think...
independently in their own history, but you are looking across those histories. And, like, people do that, it's another thing, with games anyway, where they look at a bunch of first-person shooters and go, oh, well, this thing from Call of Duty and this thing from Battlefield, just as an example, are similar. Or this thing from Darksiders and this thing from Legend of Zelda are similar. And we have this vision of this multiverse where there are a lot of different things that are similar, and then there are the things that make them the same. Bioshock just gave us that sort of awareness within its own universe, and being able... I'm really interested to see what kind of a city they could do next, if they decide to continue with the Bioshock type of game.
I kind of hope... Well, I don't know. I hope they do, but that's just because...
But now they've kind of showed their hand.
Yeah, they showed their hand. I feel like it would be fine if they ended it with this, because it would make sense in a way, but it would also make sense to continue it. It's kind of that... It works either way. It's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the main things about this game. It's a win-win. There are too many... It's still early in the year, but everybody's like, this is Game of the Year.
Yeah.
It's totally Game of the Year. But They just announced Batman Arkham Origins,
Yeah, I'm
which
excited for
everybody
that.
gave that fucking Deathstroke, Black Mask, and a whole bunch of other assassin characters.
Black Mask.
He looks sweet. But like, I definitely think this will be in the running for Game of the Year. I don't know if there will be a story as poignant, and that's where it's going to get a lot of people. I don't remember the last game that made me think this, like, in a good way, that made me think this stay on my mind as much. Like, this game is
That
really
stayed with
staring
you
with
as
me.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? I don't...
Actually, no, Journey. Journey was the last game, and I still think about it and actively try to keep Journey in my life, and I'm kind of doing the same with Bioshock, either listening to the music or looking at art or reading all these opinions or going back and looking at the voxophones that I didn't get. But it's a world that, as terrible and terrifying as it was to be involved in it, I don't want to. It was hard to leave.
Yeah.
Like one of the only reasons. Well, I should say the only reason why I returned Bioshock Infinite was I know as long as it's going to stay on my shelf, I'm not going to replay it again for at least a year or so. Yeah. Because I'm looking at all of the... As a gamer in that, looking at those multiverses, I know everything that's coming out. I know all of the stuff that I haven't played. Like, I've had Borderlands 2 since it came out, and I haven't touched it.
Oh.
Like, looking at it as a game is the only reason why I returned it. Because I would... So I want to be... I want to be with it, but I can't.
A forbidden love.
It's a forbidden love. Mine's in Bioshock Infinite. The disc hole's too small. But... that was horrible. But as much as I love it, I could still only give it like an honest 4.
Out of 5 or 10?
Out of 5.
Okay.
'Cause I'm in the cesspool. I'm in the mindset of Adam Sessler where too many numbers complicates it. Like I was gonna say 8.5 out of 10. That's way too complicated. Then it's like no, 4 out of 5. It's definitely worth playing.
I gotta say the same thing. I feel the same way. I felt like Elizabeth. I don't know. She kind of. I don't know. Her transformation from innocent, naive person to almost godly knowledge of everything. It happened a little fast for me, and I didn't. There was not a specific...
Are you talking about the end or the middle?
The whole story.
Okay.
The entirety of the game, because by the end she saw every single instance, every single version of the universe at the same time. Like she was Dr. Manhattaning it. But there was not a specific event that brought that into happening that I know of or that I knew of. I couldn't put my finger on one event where after that, then she was able to see through everything.
It's the songbird destroying the siphon.
Oh, okay.
Like, I missed all of the siphon when you're going into the tower. It says siphon, like, and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't put it together until they were up there and you saw the model, which I'm really happy they put the model of the thing with the siphon in it. And then upon its destruction, the power that they were holding became free, which is when she became all-knowing and omnipotent.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the moment where after she kills Daisy, she essentially sheds the naivety.
Yeah, no, that was great. I thought that was excellent.
Like she was physically and emotionally went from girl to woman.
Yeah. Oh,
and
cutting of the hair.
And like some people complain that the corset and the boobs kind of were like, oh well, they're over sexualizing the character. Well, I don't think it was just that girl to womanization essentially that they needed to portray.
Although to be fair, with the amount of running that they were doing, that would have been really inconvenient for her.
She was barely breathing.
Yeah.
And the fact that she could still find God, when she had like volley ammo or like she's like
RPG ammo.
Girl, you strong. Like how?
Man,
especially when she'd be like super far away. Yeah. I mean, practice.
I guess, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that this is a fault of the game by any means because it has to be fast for the gameplay. So that I understand that.
And somebody brought it up. It was funny how for everything that she found, she didn't find lockpicks, which is the only thing that she used.
Found them. She just couldn't pick them up.
It's like, hey,
that's
right.
Booker,
That's right. She's like, hey, lockpicks. She just didn't toss them to you.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Hey, Booker, there's a lockpick over here. You should pick that one up.
I love video games. This is one of the things
too.
that just, like... This is why video games are video games, and why making them into movies doesn't work. Why most of the time
because they're experiences. They're not something that you sit and watch.
Mm-hmm. And
movies, they're a different kind of experience.
Exactly. And just like how this was a third-person or a first-person shooter instead of a third-person shooter, where Elizabeth was looking right at you when she was talking to you, Comstock was looking right at you when he was on the video screens. Everything was still happening to you, and for as many games that use the first-person perspective, it's not really a first-person perspective. Like, you're still a silent person, but you're somebody else. Whereas this, you're someone else, but you're still you. It's weird.
It's really... I mean, the other Bioshock games
works.
Yeah. The other Bioshock games are similar. They're more... they're much more silent. The main characters. But, yeah, I don't know. I would highly suggest picking up...
the original Bioshock?
I would say the original Bioshock for its villains, because they're so good.
I've seen pictures. Splicers are scary.
Well, splicers are great, but the actual, like, the little mini boss, like...
The people,
oh, God. The plastic surgeon, it's just such great villains.
Did I fight the plastic surgeon? I remember seeing him. I don't know if he was the first one, right?
He was the first boss. It's... That game, all of these games are put together so well because you see, it's like... I'm going to quote JonTron from Game Grumps. It's like in Banjo-Kazooie, where you're constantly hearing Gruntilda, and so there's this constant kind of thing of... she's there, and
constant looming evil.
Constant looming evil. And for each of these bosses, there's just... You get these tiny little hints of, like, what's their problem? What is happening here? And this guy, like, you see... Because I don't know, at least with the surgeon, you start out and you see, first thing you see are, I think, like, posters or advertisements for his thing that are, from back when everything was normal, like, as normal as things can be in
don't you see,
city.
Like, you see him doing things, but you can't interact?
You do when you get to him.
Okay.
It's, you
I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, I mean...
And there were audio logs.
Yeah, the audio logs were great, because it just was this evolving story of madness.
Mm-hmm.
Of this guy who got so obsessed with beauty, and then his idea of beauty just became more and more twisted, and that he's responsible for how the splicers look. Mm-hmm. It's not their splicing, it's he
makes them look like that.
He makes them look like that.
Because they're beautiful.
Yeah. They were the ones that, they came to him in the beginning and all that stuff, and he would do that, and he got more and more, when he spliced up more and more and more, he got more and more insane, and his beauty thing, and then he just, what you see when you get to him, and you can't, and, cause, you also see written on the walls in blood is like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, blah, 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 all of this stuff.
I do remember that, yeah.
When you see him, there's the glass window of the operating room, and there's this person, and he's just
going down.
It's a person that is awake and alive with no anesthetic. And
I do remember that.
Like, please, no, what are you... And he's just, no, don't worry, I'll make you beautiful, it'll be fine. And he just... Butchers them. And then they, stop talking, and you're like, oh, that happened.
I do actually remember that. I did get that far.
And the artist. Might be my favorite boss out of all bosses in video games.
Oh, wow, that's... Okay.
Like...
No, that's good. That's really cool.
The fight, it's not my favorite boss fight by any means. But out of the actual characters, so good. Anyway.
And I wish that there were more comparable sort of stories
Yeah.
in Infinite, which is why it would be nice to see Slate. I'm pretty sure it's Slate.
Yeah,
In a more
Slate is
expanded role. Or Fink, though again, I like how they flipped it on its ear.
Yeah.
While keeping it Bioshocky.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't your mama's Bioshock.
Bioshocky jockey. Bazap.
Yeah. I
Zap.
can't I could talk about this game for hours. I made a video about it that I'm gonna put up, but the discourse is more, I think, more important. Speaking of discourse, let us know in the comments what you think, or video responses. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
And maybe this will be a regular thing because Injustice is coming out, and might be out by the time this goes up, though probably not. I might just put this out just fucking as soon as possible. But that has a lot of interesting familiarity and differences.
Yeah,
actually, I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah, I haven't
read anything.
I haven't read a whole lot about it.
Oh, stories I will tell you.
Huzzah!
Oh, thank you everybody for listening all the way through this episode of Soapcast is what it's called. If you can't tell, if you like it, put a ring on it, and we'll come back and do it some more. You can't not make a Beyonce joke. Let us know. We always love podcasting.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Totally. So leave comments down below, and we might do one for Injustice.
Yeah.
Depending. But for now, I'm Mark Donica.
I'm Julian Tim.
And we will see you on the internet. Or in Colombia. In a lighthouse.
In a lighthouse on the internet of Colombia.
Ooh.
Freak joy.
Spooky.